So, we've not had an upload on Zamdog television for a while. Today we're going to tell you a story of a broken glow plug in a Volkswagen LT35 5-cylinder turbocharged diesel engine. So who's the star of the show today? Big Kahuna Burger. Gary, tell YouTube world all about it. You broke this glow plug.
So, yeah, what happened was this glow plug here, I managed to get the first three and the fifth one out.
Now you tried this when the engine was cold?
Yeah, it was cold. I never heated it up, which I knew I should have done. The only reason the engine was cold is because I'd partly kind of disassembled some of the parts of the engine before that for something else. And
so you couldn't start it up?
I couldn't start it and let it warm up. Really what I should have done is put everything back, warmed up the engine and done it properly. This one snapped off cleaning the head, so it was completely flush. And
now, from the previous videos we've done, I'll get a bit of Zambo cam going here, the vehicle's running, seemed to be going great. You've managed to get it through its MOT, which was a pain in the ass, but so you were doing a bit of this routine maintenance, you broke the glow plug, now the story unfolds.
Yeah, so basically, to get the glow plug out, there was only between the space here and the LT35, you've literally got about 4 inches.
Now this is the back of the engine that way, isn't it?
Yep, so the flywheel's at this end.
And the diesel injection pumps at this side as well.
Yep, yep.
Tell us an interesting thing about the numbering of the cylinders.
So
that's number 1, isn't it?
Aye. So that's number 1. I've numbered them from the front because it was easier for me to remember, but the one at the flywheel is number 1, so it's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So
it's almost a back to front situation. Right, so you broke the glow plug, decided to strip the head.
Yep, because getting into there with a drill was just, first of all, it was too risky. I was worried that I was going to damage the threads, make it even worse.
Aluminium head, the last thing you wanted to do is
I just couldn't get in there with a drill. The rest of them had a lot of clearance apart for this one.
How difficult was it to get the cylinder head off it?
It's actually surprisingly straightforward. It's quite a
simple enough old engine.
It's a basic engine. Yeah. So it was okay.
So you took it to a local engineering workshop?
Yeah.
What were they called?
West of Scotland Engineering.
And would you give them a thumbs up?
Definitely.
Give them a thumbs up.
The guys were great.
Right.
I really appreciate the work.
Tell the bigger YouTube world what the West of Scotland Engineering did on the head.
So when I actually took it to them because I realised the valve guides were wrong. And I thought, whilst I've got the cylinder head off, I might as well take it and get the valve guides replaced. And when I took it in, the guy says to me, did the belt snap? I said, no, the belt's no snapped, I just need the valve guides replaced. I explained that the glow plug had snapped in the head, and he says, how are you going to get that out? And I was like, well, I'll drill it. And he says, we'll drill it out to save any problems for you.
So you took it down for to get the valve stems replaced. How much did they charge you for taking that glow plug out?
He'd quoted me £100 to replace the valve stems, the valve guides, sorry. And he'd done that, plus drilled out the glow plug, removed all the injectors for me and checked the cylinder head and never charged me a penny more than £100.
So that's a double thumbs up. That's a thumbs up from me. Yeah. Gary, another thumbs up, come on. West of Scotland Engineering, local business, let's support them. Right, so we did the valve guides, the lifters, the hydraulic tappets in here, you've inspected them, they all look pretty good.
Yeah.
The EGR valve, I hate EGR valves. Yeah. You've never had an EGR valve before, have you?
No.
You hate EGR valves now?
I do know.
Right, come on, let's go around the side and show everybody what's happening. On the intake ports, how much gunk was in them, Gary?
It was thick.
Thick?
I'm not joking. Like, you could I put my finger in there, I did that, and it must have been, I'm not kidding, a ½ inch thick. You couldn't.
So that's going to seriously affect the airflow into that cylinder head, isn't it?
Yeah, everything was just black with carbon. The EGR valve was absolutely thick with carbon. I don't even know if the EGR valve was moving because there was so much carbon in there.
Right. How did you get that out? Was that West of Scotland, or did you do that yourself?
I did that. I actually used oven cleaner for that.
And it just dissolved it, no problem?
Just dissolved it.
One of my favourite things in the world for getting gunk off even car bodies and stuff is oven cleaner. Have you done it? Did you dress the air intake?
What I done was only because I had the head off. I wasn't going to any kind of extreme level, but what I've done is removed the lines, the casting marks.
So you did a bit of porting?
Yeah, I've basically just went in there, removed all the casting marks from inside each port. They were actually really quite ragged. So I went in there and done that with the Dremel and basically just sanded them up a bit.
You didn't put the, what do you call the gasket on and take it out or anything like that? That all looks as if it's...
I've no matched that to the manifold or anything. I'm not going to that kind of level.
The kind of level, it's just a diesel camper van, right? So, that's Gary's story. As ever, the vehicle's running. The big man just thinks to himself, let's strip the engine out, rebuild it. But again, it's the last thing we'll talk about before we say bye-bye to YouTube, there's a compression washer below the injector.
Yep.
Right. So you've replaced all the washers?
Yep.
Right. So, not that I'm uploading ages, the big kahuna burger, the main man, the whopper, the Big Mac, has been rebuilding an empire while the rest of us have been sitting in the house, self-isolating. Say bye-bye to YouTube, Gary.
Bye-bye YouTube,
right.
Thanks.
Right, thanks for watching.
Cheers.
Right, cheers.